Hey, what's up? Happy Friday. Surprise. I guess I let the cat out of the bag on Twitter. I've been on the fence about it. I'll explain. But all right, so here's the surprise. I am printing Mary Sue at home. There's a lot to unpack there. I've been a printmaker for over 5 years on and off. I have an extensive amount of experience printing all kinds of things on all kinds of printers, including what has been called a G Clay printer, I think, which uses like 10 different inks. I've worked with all kinds of. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing when it comes to printing. I never made. I never put two and two together really to think about like, oh, I can make my own comics from home. But as I was looking into print options for Mary Sue, and I was looking at the printing costs because I was going through a traditional printer, I realized that because of the small quantity, what they're probably going to do is just use a really high quality laser printer, the kind that you would find at like a Staples or a Kinko's or FedEx office, right? That's what they use to print most small quantities of comics, because the big quantities they would do things like an offset printer and make plates and stuff, right? Like that's the high quality stuff, the high quantity. And I don't know what, there are differences in quality maybe. I think to most consumers the difference is negligible, because let's say I only print a few hundred copies of a book. It's going to be done on a laser, and it's going to be. Anyway, I was doing all these calculations and I realized, wait, for pretty much the same amount of money as like two print runs, I could just buy myself one of those giant go F yourself printers and wheel it into my office and just produce my own books. And this could have some huge implications for us smaller guys who, we don't sell that many copies, but why shouldn't we be able to print our own comics from home, right? It's not because of a lack of quality, because print technology nowadays is pretty much standard across, like, if you're willing to spend a few $1,000 on a giant printer, you're pretty much going to get the best quality that you can get, unless you go up to the tens of thousands. But those are not the printers that you would, if you went to a print on demand service, they wouldn't use those. So anyway, long story short, I bought one of those giant printers, and I've worked with them before, and it just hit me that's like, wait, why don't I just do this? So, okay, my thinking for this is that I've heard from a friend that, a professional friend, that one of the biggest obstacles for creators is the print costs. First of all, you have to research different printers. And I've done this a number of times, and they send you proof copies in the mail, and that costs money. And you have to approve them. You have to make adjustments. You don't always know what your printer is going to look like when you send it off to the printer. They're going to send you back. There's a lot of back and forth, and a lot of costs, and a lot of time gets wasted. So what I would do back in the day was I would put my stuff on like a thumbstick, and I would go to my local print shop and just do these print tests. And I thought that was the biggest pain in the butt. It would take like an afternoon. I would make all these adjustments, and then I'd have to go back and forth. Days would go by this way, and I'm thinking, like, this is stupid. I should just have the equipment. And I never had the opportunity to invest in it, but after Mary Sue got funded, I'm like, why don't I just... Again, I keep repeating myself. I'm so sorry. And the reason I got into this tonight, and the reason I kind of announced it by accident, is that there was a discussion of somebody or some people who have promised ash cans to their readers, and they haven't delivered them. And I was thinking, like, you can just print ash cans at home. That's the whole point of an ash can. If anyone doesn't know, I'll leave a link in the description. An ash can is basically, like, the history of it is that a publisher would send the cheapest possible copy of their book to the copyright offices in DC, and they wouldn't want to spend money on it. So it would just be like this cheapo, on newsprint paper, black and white book that would help you basically secure a copyright. And this is something that some indie creators still do, where they just print their comics at home, basically. And I was thinking, like, wait, how could any sane creator be late on their ash cans? Because you can just go to Staples right now, buy $100 printer, and print your ash cans at home and staple them with a long reach stapler, and you're done. You put them in an envelope and you send them out, right? So I was thinking, like, this is crazy. Why isn't anyone doing this? So as a joke, half a joke, I'm like, well, I like free money. So if any creators want to send me $1.50 per copy per book, I'll just print your ash cans for you, right? And then I'm thinking, like, I actually could do that because I have the equipment. And honestly, it's not necessary for me to do it for other people, but if they want me to, like, I like free money. You can send me free money. After Mary Sue's done, my schedule should open up for a little while. And yeah, if you want to send me like PDFs of your book, I can print your book for you. I'd do that. I haven't figured out the details of that, but I can figure that out. But like, there is actually no reason why a lot of indie creators can do this stuff from home now. The equipment is affordable enough that if you're really serious about being a creator, you can print and you can create a whole office, a printing center at your house. I have a really high quality Giclée printer here in my office next to me that does posters for me in really vibrant colors, beautiful colors. It prints up to like 12 by 18 paper. It's really nice. You can get super nice ones that can print up to 48 inches wide on these giant rolls of paper that I used to use. But these are options. You can do this at home. You can buy these things. Another advantage is being able to do adjustments at home. So I can get the best colors that I want, because we're only talking CMYK printing for the laser. I can do all my adjustments at home, and the books should look as good as humanly possible with the CMYK spectrum. That's a huge advantage. So really all this means is like the book is going to be amazing to look at. It should be. I also get the advantage of selecting my own papers and buying my own papers, and I have full control over things like glossy, size, weight, cover stock. I have every option in the world here in my office. And what I really want to do, the reason I'm announcing this early, I guess, is because I'm excited. I really want, like, I want a lot of us smaller indie creators to have this as an option. Like, if you guys get my book and you see that the quality is like totally like, you can't tell the difference between it and any other comic at an indie shop, right? There's no difference. I've done print tests. Maybe I'll put in some photos or video footage or something like that, but it's indiscernible, and why wouldn't it be, right? So this is kind of an experiment, and I sort of was tempted not to say anything because I don't want anyone to be biased when they read the book in either direction, right? If they hear that it was printed at home, like, they're not going to think like like, I am a professional printmaker, so I know what I'm doing, but I don't want people to, I guess I would have wanted it to be a surprise, but I guess I'm also too excited. Like, this is a really big deal for us smaller indie creators to be able to print at home. So yeah, if this experiment works, I want to share my print secrets with all of you. And hopefully it can help lead to a small renaissance for indie creators. I don't know. Anyway, the proof will be in the pudding when everyone gets their books next month. I plan to be drawing indie comics for the rest of my life. I don't know what kind of lifespan these machines have, but I've worked with them in the past, and they're pretty darn tough. So honestly, like, I spent a few thousand. It was really expensive. It was a giant chunk of my earnings from the Mary Sue campaign. But I think in the long run, this means like every other book I print now will be pure profits. And that means I can also lower my prices per book. So I am going to be passing those savings on to everybody after this one campaign's done. I mean, the hope is that I'll sell more copies and that everyone will be satisfied with the quality. And someday even I'm going to be looking into things like bookbinding so I can make my own trade paperbacks. I can certainly print them. I just don't know how to bind them automatically, because a lot of this is all manual labor. So instead of waiting for the printer to send me my books for 2-3 weeks, I'll just be spending 2-3 days at home printing and binding all my books. But anyway, yeah, this is a huge experiment. And when everyone gets their books, I want you all to be super candid with me about the quality. I want to make sure that you're all satisfied. And if there's anything I can do to make the books even better. The cover stock, I've already selected the cover stock. It's really solid. It feels like a book. It's just nice. There are still, things like getting to learn. Every printer is different, right? But yeah, I see no reason why this shouldn't lead to great results for all my peers being able to print at home. I mean, shoot, I could do under 1,000 books in a week. I don't see why I shouldn't be able to. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I'm really looking forward to hearing what everyone thinks. And that's my announcement. There's only a week left, less than a week actually, for Mary Sue issues 1 and 2. I'm only offering the premium edition this time. That's the one with the gold leaf. I'm not going to give away that trade secret of how I'm doing that, but I am going to be doing that from home by hand. So yeah, that's going to be special. And in the future, I'm going to offer a cheaper edition, maybe on cheaper paper, stuff like that. And definitely no more excuses about I'm waiting for my printer, because if I can do it, anyone can. The only hard thing is carrying these giant printers upstairs. I had to have 3 people help me. It was terrible. But we got it up here, and it's a workhorse. It's powerful. I can't wait to use it. And I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks. So I'm working super hard on Mary Sue. I'll thank you all for your patience as I work on it. And also I'll thank you for your encouragement. This next few weeks is going to be crazy. 10 hours a day, 7 days a week at least, as long as I can maintain my sanity. And then I'll get the books out before the holidays. So yeah, thanks for listening. I really want to hear what you guys think. Take care.